Hello Flosstube, this is Rose, and you have found Untwist Your Stitches, my Flosstube channel about cross-stitching and all my other crafting endeavors. This is September 5th, and it is my 15th Flosstube video. I am almost at my 1 year anniversary. I was looking back and I started doing Flosstube September 16th of 2023. I'm filming now because the things I need to show you, the things I want to show you, will have to be shipped out so that they can be received by the recipients. So I couldn't wait until my actual Flosstube anniversary. However, if everything goes like I'm thinking it will, I'm going to do a mini Flosstube on my actual anniversary day. And at that time, I'll be giving away some celebration gifts. I am filming differently today. I am standing up rather than sitting down. I've seen a few other Flosstubers do it this way, and they seem to have a easier time of showing you larger projects. This time I am standing up so that I can show you those projects. The way that my video goes, I usually ask a question, who, what, when, where, why, specifically about your stitching, so that we can start conversations and I can get to know you, you can get to know me, and we can have a little bit of fun discovering different things. Last time, my question was, excuse me, pretty sure I remember, what is your favorite fabric? Now, I got a wide range of comments, anywhere from as large as 40 count as their favorite to 14 count as their favorite. It was across the board. It didn't seem like there was a consensus with anybody as to what their favorite was, why they liked it, that kind of thing. But it was fun. There was a lot of discussion going on, and it brought to mind different things to think about when you're stitching. So if you're interested, you can go back and look at some of the comments. This month's question is, who is your favorite designer? Now, I myself do not have one specific favorite designer. My tastes are all over the place. I stitch what I like. It doesn't matter if it's something I've never tried before. If I see it and I like it, I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to get it. However, I do enjoy the designs that come from Stony Creek. You will be seeing several of those real soon in this video. I also like Glendon Place designs. I've done several of their designs. I will be showing you one previous finish in this video, and then in October I have several of her designs that I will be showing you. So I like a lot of things. The things I don't personally like to stitch myself, it's not that I don't like to look at them. I do. I enjoy watching other stitchers do them, but they are not something that calls to me, and that is primitives of any sort. I don't like the primitive designs. I love watching other people stitch them. I think some of them are fantastic. The changes that the stitchers use to either brighten or get more earth tony with them, I think it's great. I am not saying that they're not good patterns. I'm just saying I personally am not drawn to want to stitch them. I also am not a sampler stitcher when there's a lot of alphabets or a big house. Neither one of those things are something that I enjoy stitching. I do like stitching words, but I don't like just stitching the alphabet A through Z. It doesn't appeal to me. But there are beautiful samplers out there, and at the end of the video, when I give my suggestions for other floss tubers that you could go and watch and see, you will notice, if you do actually go watch these people, a lot of them stitch primitives and a lot of them stitch samplers. So it's not that I don't like looking at them, it's just that I personally don't want to stitch them. So the question remains, who is your favorite designer? And if you want to, you can give a little example of why you like them, what appeals to you about those stitchers. The next portion of my video will be my, excuse me, got something tickling my throat there. My FFOs, which for those that are not familiar, FFO means fully finished object, which means it's either ready to display or use or gift or whatever it is, that thing is complete. It's been stitched, it's been made into something or framed or whatever. So FFO is fully finished object. I have two today, and one of them is a big project. If you've been watching me all along, it is something that you have seen in every single one of my videos, and it is the baby blanket for my granddaughter. I completed it. I didn't intend to, but fun story. 2 weeks ago, my son calls and says, just in case you wanted to come to Sophia's birthday, we are having it on September 14th because he is in the Army and he will be out doing training exercises. So he will not be at home with her on her actual birthday, which is October 10th. Panic! Oh my Lanta, what am I gonna do? I still have 2 more squares to finish on this blanket, and I have to, wash it and get it backed and then get it sent to you. They're in North Carolina. So everything else got put aside, and I went to town, and hallelujah, someone was watching out for me because I was able to finish the 2 squares that I was waiting to do this month and then send it off to them. As I'm finishing, I realize I had given my sewing machine to a person to do a service on. Clean it out, oil it, check all the parts, make sure everything was running right. I did not have it back. When I gave it to him, did not think there was a rush to get it back because I had 2 months before I really had to get this done. Well, as it turns out, the day before I finished on September 1st. August 31st, I get a phone call. Your sewing machine is ready. This is, okay, you can come a little bit closer. So this is the complete Afghan. What I was working on since you last saw it is this last row. I completed wolf, the hummingbird, the star, and the zebra. So those were the last of the squares that I needed to finish. And then I always, when I'm making a blanket, I will back it with some sort of fabric. This is a light flannel. When they announced that they were having the baby, I made a quilt for their baby shower. And this was also the backing fabric for that quilt. So they will match, at least for the backing fabric. And then I fringed the edges. So we have a finish. This has been quite the journey for me. I have enjoyed every step, every stitch that I put into this. It has been really fun to do. I'm not sad to see it go because I love when a project gets completed and I can say, yes, it's done. The motifs I used, the animals, come from Stony Creek Sea Babies book, Stony Creek Woodland Babies, Stony Creek Farm Babies, Stony Creek Protected Babies. Now that's the majority of where the patterns came from. However, there were a few alphabet that in the Stony Creek book, I could not find an animal that fit that letter. The I used insects, and that was from Bugs and Bees. I don't have it with me. It's part of the stuff that still hasn't made it up here from our move, so I can't show you that book. And then the alligator was an Etsy purchase. The meerkat for my son was an Etsy purchase. The hummingbird was an Etsy purchase. However, I had to modify it to make it more like the type of hummingbird that the X represented. What else? The narwhal was a free pattern. There's a couple other squares, but the majority of the squares I used the Stony Creek animals because they all were a similar style. So it kept it, flowing. And then the, excuse me, the alphabets that I used came from this pattern, and this pattern was one that I used to make a quilt for my grandson. There were a few modifications on this, but the big letters and the words on the blanket came from this pattern. So it came in handy to keep it and use it as on that design, and it kept it consistent so that it worked with what I was trying to create. So that is my first fully finish. My second fully finish is something that is a trade that is going on. If you watch Stitching by the Shore, correct? Yes, Laura from Stitching by the Shore, she is doing a fall 2024 ATC Swap. Now, an ATC means Artist Trading Card. They are 2.5 inches across and 3.5 inches long. And you stitch something on it. It doesn't have to fill up the whole square if you don't want it to, but it can. You stitch something on it. You turn it into a card. And then you send it to Laura by October 1st. And when she gets all of the cards, I believe her husband helps her out when she's trying to decide who the swap is going to. And I think he picks the names for who your card is going to be sent off to. If you want more information about the swap, because it's really fun, it's really easy, I did this in one day. Go to Stitching by the Shore, and I believe it is you go down to the 6th video since, her current one. But it's a short video. It lasts about 15 minutes. She explains all the rules. She gives you all the information you need. She tells you how to send it to her, when to send it to her by, and how she keeps track of who is then going to receive a card in exchange. But they're very fun. This is my first one. I'm going to do another one. I'll show you that in WIPs because I'm still working on it. But this is what I did for this one. The pattern is a portion. It's not the whole thing. It's just a portion of now this is really dumb. I just stitched that 2 days ago. I can't find where I put the pattern. I set it down someplace. Now, you would not think that in a house that you're living in by yourself, that you have organized, that you could set something down and lose it. Well, pick me, because I have done it. Here is what the pattern looks like. It's a Little House Needlework pattern, and it's called Stitching Bee. I did the bee, and then this flower over here, because it was going to be too wide, I brought it down and put it underneath. So that, and added a second bee. So that is what mine looks like. And it's from this pattern. But they're really fun. And then I had this fabric in my stash, so I was able to add that. I put some twine around the edge, and I added that little wooden button to it. So that is going to be one of my trading cards that I'll be sending to Laura. So those are my two fully finished, or FFOs. Yes, fully finished object. Oh boy, here goes the brain. Now, I also have some FOs, which means I have only completed the stitching portion of these ones. Because I was working so hard on the blanket, I didn't get a chance to put these, but by my next video, I should have them fully finished, and I'll show you them to you again. The first one is, if you watch very much Flosstube, you'll probably have seen it on several different channels, because it was very popular this year, and it came out beautifully. It is, whoops, excuse me. It is Strawberry Faire by October House. I should have taken it out of the plastic. But that is what it looks like. Now, mine does not look exactly like theirs. I did my own conversion of threads, and I used a different fabric. The fabric that I used is 16 count doubloon. I got it from 123 Stitch. It's a Picture This Plus fabric, and it's this nice light colored brown, and that is my version. Now my colors are the brown in the bird is Just Rust, which is a Crescent Colorworks color. I have Weeks Dye Works Louisiana Hot Sauce, Classic Colorworks Holly Berry, Weeks Dye Works Lancaster Red, Classic Colorworks Belle Soie Watermelon. The greens are Kiwi. It's a silk. I believe the brand name is Chameleon. There's a Crescent Colorworks Field of Green, DMC 3052. And the darker color in the bird is called Nutmeg. So mine is a bit brighter than what theirs is. Theirs is more of a dark strawberry, and mine is more of a lighter, I guess pinker, you could call it, strawberry. But I think they're both wonderful. And I think it'll be beautiful when I finish it. I am going to turn this into a pillow, and the backing fabric for it will be this strawberry fabric with some embellishments on it. I think that'll really be a cute pillow. And when I was stitching this, I happened to be on, I was on Etsy, and I was just scrolling through things that were strawberry related, and this little jar came up, and I thought, as a display to go with my pillow when I finish it, this little jar would be very nice. So I bought it off of Etsy, and this will be part of the display. Now I've got another FO. This one was inspired by Callie from the Floss Boss and Cousins. She completed hers a couple of months ago, but not the video that came out today, which is September 5th, but the video that came out previous to that, she had fully finished hers into a pillow. And hers is more the traditional colors that the pattern calls for. But it's this Remember Me Pin Keep by Scattered Seed Samplers. Scattered Seed Samplers. And this is my version of it. Now my favorite colors are green and yellow, so I changed the roses and the wording to yellow. I brightened the birds up into a red, and I made the keys and the heart lock silver. So the colors I use for this The birds are Crescent Classic Colorworks Hollyberry. The black is Weeks Dye Works Kohl. The green is a silk. It's Pepperpot silk called Green Foliage. Let's see. Oh, the highlighted areas in the leaves is called Balsam Fir by Crescent Colorworks. And the yellow is the May 2022 Silk of the Month from Silk4Me. So that's what I did. Oh, and the darker yellow in the roses is an NPI silk, and the silver in the keys and the lock is an NPI silk. And this I am going to make into a project bag for myself, and I'm going to frame it with this color, and then get a contrasting color to go with it to make my bag. But I think that's going to really come out nice. So that is my second fully finish, and that's what I've been working on the majority of the month of August. Sorry, this is only September. So I have very few whips because most of my whips became finishes. The first whip I will show you is from my stitch along. The hashtag for it on Instagram is hashtag SAL. 60 is just a number. And it is for my 60th birth year. I just turned 60 in July on the 7th. And what I did for my stitch along is every month starting in January from the 7th to the 10th, I stitched on a patriotic pattern. The first one I finished, it was American Sampler by J Designs, and now I am working on Jan Hicks E Pluribus Unum. Now, once again, I changed the colors in my pattern. I did not like it being so pink as what this is showing. I wanted it to be more of a red for red, white, and blue. So mine is this far. Since you've seen me last, I had finished the blue, which was a lot of stitches, and I started on the stripes, the red and white stripes. So my conversion, the first stripe right here is this. It's called Razzleberry. The next one, the white stripe, is Queen Anne's Lace by Weeks Dye Works. The third stripe is Grapefruit from Weeks Dye Works. It's a little more orange than I thought it would be, but that's okay. It works. The next one, this white right here, is Wild Oats by Classic Colorworks. This red stripe has two colors in it. It has Weeks Dye Works Garnet is the darker color, and Simply Shaker Schoolhouse Red is the lighter color. The next white stripe is Weeks Dye Works Parchment. The first long red stripe is Buckeye Scarlet by, Gentle Arts, Simply Shaker. And the final long white stripe here, and it's not quite finished. It goes a little bit farther down, but it is Classic Color Works Antique Lace. So September, which the 7th will be Saturday, I will pull this one out and I will finish the stripes and I will put the Unum back in. It had been stitched, but I misplaced it when I was doing the spacing, so I had to pull it out, and that will be restitched, and then this one will be finished. And I can start on my third patriotic piece, which I hope will be here because it also got left in California, unbeknownst to me. It was not in one of the boxes that I thought it was in. So hopefully in the next week I will be receiving that and some of my other crafting items. That was worked on August 7th to the 10th. August 11th to the 17th, I worked on the Strawberry Faire and the Remember Me. I got 2 finishes in 1 week. And then, because I had to rush through and get it finished, thank goodness my son mentioned it well in advance, so I didn't panic and have a problem. But the other 2 weeks in August were the 4 squares on the baby blanket. This week, I've been working on the ATC cards. I showed you the first one that I had finished. The next one, even though this is a free pattern, I don't want to show you the chart because it's not my pattern to share, and it's a design from Kitty Me Designs. It is, as I said, it is a free pattern. So this is what it's going to look like. It will fit. I'm stitching it on a 18 count. Oh, what is the name of this? The tag was still on it. I left it out by my stitching chair. I believe the name of the fabric was Luna. It was a hand dyed, or it is a hand dyed. I am not taking it off my stand because I am in the process of stitching it. But this is how far I have gotten in one night. So, as I said, these ATC cards are so quick with the size that you have to work with. You could get one done by the 1st of October and send it off to Laura and be a part of this exchange. She would love to have people join in and enjoy the process of stitching these cards with her. So the next thing I have to share is my I don't have any new starts. Well, technically I do, because the peacock is a new start. So technically I have a new start, but I was counting it in the whips. The next thing I will share with you is my plans for this month. Now that I have the baby blanket done, I can add a new project to my list. And what I want to do is for the family of Sophie and my son and my daughter-in-law, I want to do this pattern. It's called Family, and it is from Stitching with the Housewives. It reads, family is everything, and then it has an established date. I have struggled with what date I wanted to put on there, because do I put the date that they were married? Do I put the date that they started living together? Well, what I've decided is the date that I am going to put family is everything is the year that Sophie was born. So it will be family is everything, and the year will be 2021. And I would like to get this finished for them by Christmas. I am going to use, excuse me for a moment here, I gotta unroll. The way that I keep my fabric is I roll it, and I've got these little clips that I put on each end to hold it in place. So that's my way of storing my fabric. This is a Picture This Plus from 123 Fabric, and it is called Lichen. It's a nice neutral mottled fabric. Yeah, that's I'm not sure. It's coming across pretty close to what it is. And then instead of using DMC 310, I am going to use, it's called Gunmetal. It's a little bit, it's a dark gray, but it's not the deep black. And I'm going to use that for the words. And then I've shown you before that I have a project that I'm going to do for my son and his wife. It's a long dog sampler. And the colors from it, which are a blue and a purple, she likes purple, he likes blue, where the hearts are here, I'm going to, every other one will be one of those two colors that I'm using on the other project that I will eventually get going for them. And then it'll all tie together. So this will be started sometime this month. Not sure when, but either not next week, because next week I want to get back to my Raven Queen project. I'd really like to get a lot of work done on that. So next week will be Raven Queen. The following week will probably be that one. And the last week of this month, I want to start a new bird project. I like to have a small project going all the time and a bird project going all the time, because I've got so many of both that I want to get done, and it just seems like the sensible thing to do. However, I'm having a hard time deciding which one to start, because they're so fun and there's so many. So one of the option is Oh Honey, I Am That Mom by Dirty Annie's. This one is an Italian designer, and I will not try to butcher this name in any way. The pattern name is Fresh Eggs. But those chickens are just too cute. There's a Auntie B or Aunt B by Lulu Designs. It says the designer is Cindy Young. I don't know if you know them, but it's this one. Isn't she cute? And then the final one that I have to choose from is a Cross-Eyed Cricket Fresh Eggs. So I'm not sure which one of these. I may put all their names in a hat and draw from it to decide. Or maybe by the time I get to them at the end of the month, one of them will have really jumped out at me and I'll know which one I'm going to do. But those are my plans for the month of September. Yeah, so that's that. The next thing I'm going to show you is I do have, this month, I have a crochet project that I have started. Oh, goodness. There we go. I'm new to the area, so I've been trying to connect with different crafters in the area. And I was put in touch with a lady, and her and some of her friends, every Tuesday from 2 to 4, they go to a local it's not a restaurant, it's more of a coffee shop, but it also has crafting supplies and products to sell. It's called the Crafting Hut, right? The Crafting Hut? I'm new here, so I'm still learning names and whatnot. But anyway, you go there, you sit, you visit, you either, it's supposed to be a knitting group, but they said, we don't care if you knit or if you crochet, it's all the same. Yarn is yarn. So I have been going for the last few weeks, and I started this project. It is, it's a kit. It's a Mary Maxon pattern that I've had for ages. When I took it out of the plastic bag that it was in, obviously it had gotten hot and part of the picture stuck to the bag. But this is what it will look like when it is complete. I have no plans for it. It's something that I've had in my stash for a lot of years, and I thought, why not grab it? It'll be easy. All of the pieces and parts are already together. All you got to do is grab and go. So that is what I have been working on. And I'm really enjoying it. It's fun to get back to crocheting and doing this little by little as we visit. And I learn about the community and the people and whatnot. It's really, I've enjoyed it a lot. So that is my crochet project for this time. And now I've been shopping. I don't need to shop. I have more stuff than I will ever get to. But I've been shopping. So, one of the things that I have been hearing about from a lot of floss tubers is the Nerge hoop. I decided to try it. This is a number 4. I believe it is 11 by 11. I think is the size that it said. It's kind of interesting. I have not tried it on any project yet, but it looks like it might be okay. It was on 1, 2, 3 stitch. When I did the baby blanket, you'll notice the yellow starfish was quite large and it used a lot of floss, and I was getting low on the 2 colors that it called for, so I had to order 38.55 and 38.24 just to be sure that I didn't run out of floss for my starfish. So if you can see it, it's got this blunt-ended stem on it for unpicking your stitches when you need to frog. And sometimes it would be nice to have something that doesn't grab the fabric, especially like on my Afghan. It was a very soft fabric, and when I did occasionally have to unpick something, even just using the needle that I was stitching with, sometimes I would catch the fabric and pull it and then have to be careful about it. But this, I'm going to give it a try and see how it works, and I will let you know if it is something that I found useful. Also, when I was on there, I've heard a lot of talk about the black coffee from Classic Colorworks, so I'm going to give that a try. And also, in one of my projects, I need a brown, and none of the browns that I currently have really are talking to me and saying this is what you should use. So I got this old hickory from Gentle Arts. So those 2. I've seen this. I think there's a salve for it. I am not 100% sure. I'm going to have to go look. But I have seen several floss tubers showing this pattern, and it's really, it talked to me, so I decided to give it a go. It is Heart in Hands Maker, and it should stitch up really quick. It's not big at all. And another Kitty Me design that was in the that was on 1, 2, 3 Stitches site, and it's small motifs for fall. Welcome autumn, sunflowers, pumpkins, give thanks, Halloween, autumn leaves, and trick or treat. And they've done them on a white, but I think I would do them on a more maybe like the doubloon that I did the Strawberry Faire on, to give it more of an autumny tone to it. But those should stitch up really quick and be fun to do. So yeah, that's my other pattern. They also had some fabric that I thought would work with some of my finishing. This is white pebble gingham and sea glass gingham. And I've got lots and lots of fabric behind me that it will go well. So I'll get that put away and decide what I'm going to use that for, with making bags or doing table toppers or whatever it is that I'm going to be stitching. I also was on Etsy. Never just peruse Etsy and think you're not going to buy something, because actually I went looking for this because I saw Helen D have a Needleminder that was a squirrel, and I couldn't find it as a Needleminder, but I did find it as a pen. So I will just take this the pin off and put magnets back there and turn this into a Needleminder, because I think it's just beautiful. And Helen's was very pretty too, but not that exact design. Also, because I was looking for squirrels, of course, that little squirrel came up, and he is a Needleminder. And I have a very good friend who loves fairies, and I saw this on Etsy, on the same site as the squirrel that I bought. So I decided to buy this for her, and I will send it to her as a gift. It's really pretty, but it's a Needleminder as well. And I will put the name of the Etsy shops down in the description box, because off the top of my head, I do not remember who they were. So I'll put them in the description underneath the title. Let's see. Next. These are previous finishes that I have done several years in the past. And the reason that I'm showing them to you now is because I got my fall decorations out and decorated the house. The pictures you saw at the beginning of this video, show where they will be in my house for fall decorations. I do have some information. I don't have all of the information, such as this one. This is Glendon Place's Autumn All Around. It is mostly done in the suggested floss, but not all of it, because some of the leaves here were not done in the exact color. And then I added these little buttons when I finished this project. I wanted it to be an octagon when I finished it as a table topper. At the time, I could not find one, so I created my own pattern. And this is the back. And this is the front. This is a table runner that I bought many years ago from the Hirschner's catalog. I needed something autumn. I wanted it to be out for more than just Halloween. I wanted it to be able to be September, October, November. So I do not have the name of it. I have looked and looked. It is no longer available through Hirschner's. I have put in every imaginable name that I can think of just as a general Google search. I can't find the name of it. I don't know what it was. But it came as a kit, so the fabric that it is stitched on was part of that kit, and all of the threads were provided. And it's a table runner, and it's got the design on each end. And I believe that's a 14 count Ada. I don't think it's 16. It looks too big for it to be 16. I'm pretty sure it's a 14 count. This was in a magazine that I had, and a few years ago I was tired of lugging around boxes and boxes and boxes of magazines. So I went through all of my magazines and I pulled out the patterns that I knew I would stitch, and I offered the other patterns to other stitchers at a retreat that I was at. And the magazine is no more. When I put it in my binders, in order to fit into the plastic pocket protectors that I use, I had to trim the edge of it, and in doing that I trimmed off the name of the magazine. So I do not know what the name of the magazine is. However, the name of the pattern is Thunderbird Clan. I've seen this on Pinterest a few times, but it never gives the name of the magazine that it came out of. There were several different patterns, I believe a total of 15 different patterns. There was a turtle, there were snake, lizard, birds, hawk, owl. I don't remember all of them, but I believe there's 20 different patterns. Some of them big, some of them small, but this was one of them. And in the picture at the beginning of the video, you'll see that this is hanging on my door display that I made. This one, I cannot find that pattern no matter how hard I look. I know it was a freebie. I have looked through all the books that I have here with me. It might be in one of the books that's still in California. I don't know, but it was a freebie. I enjoyed stitching it. It was very quick. It's on a linen. This one is on a 14 count opalescent. This is a linen. Don't know what it is. I put it together so that it would hang on my door display as a fall decoration. So that's all I can tell you about that one. And this one is my final previous finish. It is a JBW design. It is the French Country Squirrel. That pattern is not with me, but I can show you that it is this. And I made it as it's just a piece of hard cardboard that holds it up, and I put it in a picture frame holder, and it's part of my fall decorations. I do September is fall, mostly owls, some gnomes, some blackbirds, all the stuff that you saw in the pictures at the beginning of this video. Those are my fall for September. October is all Halloween. I've got a ton of Halloween stuff that I display. Lots of things that I have stitched. As I told you, in October, when I do my October video, I will show you all of those designs. and then November, mostly corn, a few pumpkins, pilgrims, and Indians. So that's how I change up the fall designs when I'm decorating. Okay, so now we are almost at an end. I think I have talked long enough, but I always want to give a shout out to other Flosstube channels. It's a lot of work to do a floss tube. And when you're just starting out, you wonder, is it worth it? And you feel like, well, nobody's watching. So I like to encourage you to go and maybe see somebody that you haven't checked out previously, or are real new to Flosstube and maybe don't have a following yet. So these first two names I'm going to give you, they're new to cross stitch. Or not cross stitch, I'm sorry. They're new to Flosstube. Megan McBride. She is, if you type in Megan McBride, it will take you to her channel, and I'm not sure exactly how it's titled, if it's just her name or if it's Sassy Southern Stitcher as well. But if you type in her name, you will find her. She has done one video. Black Coffee and Grits. Her name is Lisa. I saw a new video this morning, so she now has 3 videos out. Now, these are just new to me. These are not names that I was familiar with before, but they've been doing it for a while because they've got multiple, they're in the double digits of floss tubes. Melly Ellie Stitches, and her name is Melanie. The one that I watched, I believe it is her most recent one, she had her sister on, and they were a hoot. They were just so fun to watch. So go give them a look. Stitching with Sandy. I met her on a Zoom call during National Cross Stitch Day. There was a Zoom that Laura from Stitching by the Shore hosted, along with the Stitching Owl, Karen, and these ladies were there, and I found Sandy through that. She's a kindergarten teacher in California, but she just released a new video, and there's some really cool stuff that she's showing. And then Nancy the Disorderly Stitcher. She just hit 3,000 subscribers, and she did a celebration video, which was very nice. She's got a lot of different stitching that she does, and very, very nice. So go give her a look too. Now these next few, I have been watching them for a while, but it's always worth saying their name again, just in case you're looking for somebody new and you haven't come across their names before. B&E Stitchery, it's a mother and daughter, Brandy and Emma. Two Needles Pulling Thread, Kathy and Missy. They just took a trip to Welcome Stitchery, and wow, they came back with some really nice stash and lots of stories to tell. So if you're not watching them, they're worth watching. Sun City Stitchers, they're twin sisters, Carlene and Marlene. They do some really interesting stuff and a lot of stitching between the two of them. So go ahead and look them up. The Sable Stitchers, Roberta and Lenny, they're pretty popular. A lot of people mention them. They just hit their 9,000 subscriber mark. And also, Roberta does a retreat information website where she gets all information from retreats across the United States, and she posts it on this website so that if you're looking for something maybe in your area or during a time of the year that would be convenient for you, you go to her website and she has the information for you to connect with these different retreats. So both of those things are great. They're pretty funny, and Lenny is, whenever she says something silly, she says, "Oh, but I'm pretty." It's very fun to watch the two of them interact and have such a good time. And the last one I'm going to suggest for you this month is Cross Stitch the Globe. And the reason I'm suggesting them this month is they've got a new SAL coming up. Now, I don't know all of the particulars about it, but it sounds like it could be really fun. And the name of the SAL is Make It Murder. And from what I'm understanding about what they're saying is you take a pattern and then you put something in it to make it seem like it was a murder scene or something happened that somebody was murdered. So if you want more information about that, please go to Cross Stitch the Globe. They do a lot of videos. They do an information video about different items that are out there to look for. They do their regular video about what they're stitching, their whips and their plans and all that stuff. And then they do kind of if you're new to cross stitch, they tell you about the different items that cross stitchers use, how to use them, what the purpose of them is, and they give you kind of a tutorial on these things. I know they've done Needleminders, they've done hoops, they've done different sizes of fabric, and how to read a pattern, how to kit a pattern, or how to kit a project, that kind of thing. So they've got a lot of information for you. I think they have a video every single week, but it's not always just about their whips and their stitching. There's some information in there. So go check out Cross Stitch the Globe and see if that's something that you would like. We've come to the end. I have made it. It might be a little bit long. I hope not. I will, of course, be editing. So sometimes when I think this has run a lot longer than it should have, by the time I edit down some of the things that were in it, it brings it back to just maybe an hour. And hopefully that's what this video will do. But thank you for coming and joining me. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Let me know who your favorite designer is, and hopefully on the 16th I will see you again with some prizes to give out. And thank you for joining me. I appreciate you spending the time with me, and I hope that I have inspired or encouraged you to pick something up and stitch it. So have a good afternoon and enjoy your stitching.